Hi everyone. So in this video, we are going to be looking at achievement goal theory and how your goal orientation can impact your mindset and performance. So what is achievement goal theory? So basically, achievement goal theory suggests that we're all innately wired to achieve success. However, how we define that success and therefore what drives us, what motivates us can vary. So if we consider these next few statements, when I am riding, I feel most successful when I feel clearly superior, I show other people I am the best, I outperform my opponents, I perform to the best of my ability, I reach personal goals, and I show clear personal improvement. So just have a little think about which ones of these statements you feel relate best to you. So the first three statements, I am clearly superior, I show other people I am the best, and I outperform my opponents. These would be typical of someone who had an ego or goal orientation. So this is where you define success in comparison to others. Whereas the next three statements, I perform to the best of my ability, I reach personal goals, I show clear personal improvement. These would be typical of somebody with a task or mastery goal orientation. So, this is when an individual defines success on their own personal self improvement. Now, there's a couple of things that are important to note. So, firstly, nobody's exclusively one or the other. You could be high in both, or you could be low in both. And it's also possible it could vary dependent on the situation. So, how does an individual's goal orientation impact their performance and mental well-being? So, an ego orientation is where individuals are focused on outperforming others. So, they will evaluate their competence in comparison to other people. So, they're going to be motivated by external validation and recognition, so prizes, rosettes. They attribute success to luck or talent, and an ego orientation promotes negative emotions such as fear of failure, anxiety, demotivation, and frustration and anger. Now, this is largely because the focus is on things that are outside of this individual's control. And therefore, it's a less stable form of motivation because you're evaluating yourself on things that you have no control over. So, in contrast, a task orientation is more focused on personal improvement. So, this is where they evaluate competence in relation to past performance. So, where are you compared to where you were a week ago, a month ago, a year ago? So, an individual with a task orientation is going to be motivated by an intrinsic desire for growth and mastery. They attribute success to learning and effort. So when they look at somebody who is succeeding, they can appreciate the effort and the learning that has gone into the process that has allowed them to reach that level of competency. And a task orientation promotes more positive emotions such as focus, motivation, persistence, and resilience. Again, because the focus is very much on things more within that individual's control. And therefore, this is a more stable form of motivation because it doesn't matter who you're competing against, who's in the warm up arena, because you're focused on your own performance, you're not impacted on what happens with everybody else. So, how do we go about promoting a task orientation? So, firstly, as I previously stated, really important to focus on factors within your area of influence. So, there's a really lovely exercise, I think it was Stephen Covey that came up with it, where you draw a big circle and then you draw a smaller circle on the inside. And on the inside, you put in all the factors that you can control. So, this would be your psychology, your fitness, your preparation. And on the outside, you put all the things that you can't control, the other competitors, the judge's opinion, the weather. And it's really important that you focus on the factors within that inner circle. So set process goals. So it's nice to set long-term goals and it's nice to set performance goals so they give you direction, but actually it's the process goals. So those smaller goals that are focused on personal improvement that really matter. Embrace challenges. Seek tasks that push your limits and require effort, viewing them as opportunities to learn. And this is really important because we learn best when we're slightly outside of our comfort zone. And when we're outside our comfort zone, there's always going to be a little bit of a risk that we may struggle and we may not perform at our best. But without pushing ourselves outside our comfort zone, then we're never going to progress. So it's really important that we see these as opportunities to learn. Structure targeted practice sessions. So again, focusing in on self-improvement. Learn from mistakes. So treat setbacks as valuable learning experiences to adjust strategies and enhance performance. So again, we learn from our mistakes, and from a motor learning perspective, mistakes are really, really important. So they're not signs of lack of competence. It's all part of the process, all part of the learning process. And focus on intrinsic motivation. So set goals that are personal, meaningful, and enjoyable rather than seeking external validation. So go for that sense of personal achievement. So I hope you found that helpful. As always, if you'd like to learn more about how sports psychology can help your riding performance, then feel free to get in touch for a free non-obligation chat. And I look forward to seeing you again soon.